And just say again, yeah, welcome everybody to this REG talk about the Ryedale Geothermal project. Perhaps a few just brief introductions before we get started. Maybe starting with you, Caroline, and you've been very helpful in helping us to get this sorted. Perhaps tell us a little bit about why we're here and your involvement.
Okay, so my name's Caroline. I work with a company called Arch Communications, and we're working with Ryedale District Council. And our main task is on this project is to make people aware of the feasibility studies and what is happening in Ryedale at the moment. So as Paul said, I've been kind of working behind the scenes with Paul to get this talk set up. We're also going to be attending one of your monthly meetings next week. We've been to Pickering Market. We've done our own online event. We went to the Malton show. So we're just trying to get out there and kind of talk to people. And as well as making people aware of the project, I think more importantly, what we're trying to do is to listen to what people think about it and what their views are, whether they've got any questions, whether there's any issues or any concerns that they have about geothermal energy, and just trying to answer some of those, which is where Adam and Anna come in, really, because they're the experts. They're the experts. So I'm the one behind the scenes who's doing all the facilitation. And I will hand over to, do you want to go to Adam or do you want to go to Anna first?
Let's go to Anna first. So yeah, that's
Adam.
logical. So Anna, yes, tell us a little bit about what you do at Third Energy.
Yeah, so hi, I'm Anna Rondo. I am the Sustainability and Environmental Projects Lead, just quite a mouthful. So I joined early 2001, and I was kind of brought on to help guide the environmental projects and to basically help facilitate the transition from fossil fuels to renewables. And as part of that, I'm taking on a lot of the responsibilities for geothermal work, as well as other projects that we're looking into as well. And yeah, that's a quick overview for me.
Fabulous, thanks, Anna. And then last but certainly not least, Adam.
Brilliant, thanks, Paul. Hi, good evening, everybody, and thanks for taking the time to join us for tonight's REG talk. So I'm Adam Vaughan. I'm the Climate Change and Environmental Protection Officer for Ryedale District Council. Some of you know me already, but for those that you don't, so I've been as part of the council since November last year. My role very much is, supporting Ryedale and the council in, getting to net zero by 2050. That's why this project is so important for us, really. It's a fantastic opportunity to, ensure that Ryedale is going down the right path, whilst, very timely as well to do with energy security as well, and, to do with the heat network. So, yeah, thrilled to be here tonight. And yeah, it's going to be my pleasure to present the slides initially and then hand over for the important Q&A session and, get your thoughts, feedback and views on the project. That's the key thing we're trying to gain from this evening.
Fabulous, that's great, thanks Adam. So I'll let you do your setup with the slides and then just say while we're doing that, and feel free to use the chat as we go along for comments, or use the chat to line up some questions. We'll wait till the end of the presentation before we take them. We'll also kind of open the floor for questions at the end as well, using hand raise and so on, so you can just jump straight in if you prefer not to use chat, but feel free to line a few comments and questions up in chat as we go along as well. So we can see what looks like a very promising title slide, Adam. So I think it's all yours.
Brilliant. If that's coming through okay, I'll kick off. So so tonight we're just going to give a couple of overview slides to the Ryedale Geothermal project. It gives everybody on the call tonight the opportunity to learn more about the project, what's been proposed, the feasibility studies. More importantly, it gives you the opportunity to have your say, ask your questions, voice your views as citizens of Ryedale. So I'd like just to start, if I can, just by giving a quick introduction to the headlines of the project and what we're trying to achieve. So the key question that this project is trying to answer is, can the deep wells owned by Third Energy in Ryedale provide green geothermal energy? Really timely key question, both for energy security and also supporting, our residents of Ryedale and Ryedale as a whole meeting net zero. The project currently is in feasibility studies part of it. It's a government-funded project that's been underway for quite a little while now. But it's also quite important to stress as well, this project does very much align with our own council climate change ambitions as well, both to support Ryedale to get to net zero, but also, ensuring that You know, clean energy is also on the agenda as well. A key part we're also trying to draw a line under with this project as well, and very much highlight is, you know, fracking and fossil fuels are no longer on the agenda. Clear differentiation between this project and those there, so very, very different. The project is seen very much as a beacon initiative for the UK and for the region as well. There are smaller type geothermal projects that are, you know, do exist in the UK, and I'll talk about those a little bit later on in the talk, but this very much is the first of its kind, looking at existing assets that were being used for something completely different, retrofitting them and using them for clean geothermal energy on there. There's a number of different applications that technology could bring benefit to, from, you know, heating homes, agriculture for growing food in greenhouses and other type approaches, and then also to do with leisure facilities and other type businesses as well. So there was a lot of scope going on here, really. You know, it's currently estimated that, you know, less than 2% of homes in the UK are on district heating networks, which is a term that's, you know, been talked about more and more. Going forward, the government estimate up to 20% by 2050 will need to be on heat networks. So projects such as this really are going to be key in pushing us down the right pathway to get cleaner forms of energy for homes and also businesses as well. So I'd just like to give a little bit of an overview to geothermal energy, if I can. You know, many of you on this call may have better knowledge than probably I do, but I thought I'd just give a bit of an overview to what geothermal energy is. So beneath our feet, you've got the crust of the earth, and there's a geothermal gradient in that. So essentially, the deeper you go into the earth's crust, the hotter the temperature gets, mainly due to the geothermal chemistry that's going on, but then also to do with the types of rocks that are under there as well. Water does exist within these natural rock formations, and by bringing that water to the surface, you've got that stored up heat energy, which then can be used, you know, for a whole range of different settings, from, you know, if it's at lower temperatures, say for heating. At higher temperatures, you could even use it to generate electricity and energy, which is a big thing for areas such as Iceland on there. Now, a key bonus for the UK, and mainly where we are in the northeast of England, is the geology that we sit under has the potential for enough geothermal energy, you know, to support a third of the homes in the UK to do with their energy requirements for heating. Now, it's a massive potential, and really to show that Ryedale, you know, is in a really great position to start looking at this technology. As we sort of touched on before, the UK, you know, it is still a fairly small scale in terms of geothermal at the moment, but, you know, it's very well established. Iceland is the key one here. You know, it's, you know, a lot of their homes, a great proportion of their homes are supported by geothermal energy for their heating, and also in the US as well. So it is very tried and tested technology that's safe, and the bonus of providing long-term sustainable renewable energy, which is, you know, going to be really key going forward. So just a couple of example projects really that show that, you know, this is very feasible and can work. Key one on the top right-hand corner is the Roman Spa in Bath. There's a natural hot spring that's been there for a long time, and bonus of this is it provides hot water sort of 40 to 50 degrees for the spa, and that's been used for leisure type purposes for a long time, you know, dating right the way back to the Roman era there. More recent developments include Southampton. So originally Southampton drilled a deep well to provide energy to the Civic Centre. They've actually expanded that scheme now to actually be providing, you know, well over 1,000 homes on a district heat network. Universities and hospitals have also been tied into this scheme as well, and also council offices and other big shopping centres. So it really does show that district heating can be done on a large scale for, you know, a city such as Southampton. So geothermal energy can be a real provider of this. Two other recent schemes, there's one in Suffolk and one in Penzance. The one in Suffolk is using geothermal energy to heat greenhouses. So either to improve, you know, agricultural type growing in areas that potentially couldn't support these plants initially, or to help, you know, heat these greenhouses at a lower energy cost in a more renewable way. Now, one that potentially could have a similarity and synergy for Ryedale is the Jubilee Pool in Penzance. There's a 400-metre well that was drilled there approximately, and the benefit of this is the energy that's provided from that geothermal well gives nice outdoor bathing at 30 to 35 degree temperature, so quite nice outdoor bathing, and it's quite nice to have a UK pool that probably is quite nice and warm instead of being really, really cold on there. So like I say, there are a couple of small-scale geothermal energy projects in the UK. We very much see this one in Ryedale as very much a Beacon unique project. So I'd like to just take a little bit of a round tour, if I can, to the wells in Ryedale. So at present, Third Energy own 12 wells. Got a map on the right-hand side here. We've got 2 up towards the Dolby Forest and Wycombe area, and then essentially another 9 that are based further to the sort of the westerly areas. 11 of those have been assessed for geothermal energy at the moment. The only one that isn't is the blue one labelled MAR3Y. Unfortunately, in its location, it's prone to flooding, and it's already been ruled out for these feasibility assessments. The 2 wells up in Dolby Forest and Wycombe, they're not connected, so they're individual assets on their own. And these wells could potentially provide heating for buildings, tourism, ecotourism. So very much looking at how can these wells support those kind of sectors in the more forestry areas. Moving down towards Pickering, so the purple PK1 and PK2. These wells potentially could support things such as leisure centres and also district heating. So the temperature of the water there probably is between, say, potentially 40 to 50 degrees, but obviously feasibility studies will give firm numbers on these. But potential, similarities to the Penzance pool. Could the energy there be used to, say, heat a community swimming pool or other type projects on there? Moving down to Great Hampton, the wells in orange there, the potential for these 2 wells could be used for district heating. So a lot of properties in these areas currently are on off-gas grid, so they have to use other fuels to heat their homes. Potential of these wells could then obviously support those properties in removing those fuels, going to a cleaner form of energy to heat their homes. So quite exciting there. And then finally, the cluster of 5 wells just outside Kirby Misperton, the KM labelled wells, similar usages for these wells, but they could also be used for, say, agriculture, commercial, and then potentially district heating. So it's worth noting that all these kind of applications, all this will come out of feasibility, what kind of approaches work for each well, but it's, there's a lot of different applications for these wells potentially. Quite a nice unique outlier for the MK set is KM8, going wrong way, KM8. KM8 is a unique well compared to the others. The other wells are about 4,000 to 6,000 feet deep, so 40 to 50 degree water potential. KM8 is 10,000 feet deep, so a lot deeper. And the bonus of that is the water, if it is extracted, potentially could be a lot higher. So 80 to 90 degrees, a lot more thermal energy in there, and that sort of brings up additional scope for what could that higher temperature water be used to support on there. The wells themselves, it's worth noting that Third Energy are also part of the Net Zero Rise group, which is an academic industry partnership. And their purpose of that is to explore how to take existing assets such as these, retrofit and use them for purposes exactly such as this for geothermal energy. So the learning that comes from this project will directly feed into that national level important research to take assets such as these and use them for green geothermal energy or other green energy types on there. So it's quite important to stress here that the learnings here are going to go to a really important national use, in addition to obviously what comes out of the feasibility studies. So just to finish really on what's currently happened. So the feasibility studies have been going for a couple of months now. 50% of this has been funded by the HUND grant, so £50,000 came from that, and then Third Energy have matched that funding in tow as well. A couple of key questions that the feasibility is trying to answer, and rightly so, is what is the temperature at the bottom of these wells? How do we get it to the surface? What technologies are needed to make it viable? And then how will it be returned after it's been used? Similar thing to do with capture and distribution. How do we get the heat to this hot water to the right places on these different applications? And then trying to bring all of this together in a sound financial and business model to make sure that it's feasible to use these technologies to either heat homes or other commercial uses on there. Key takeaways: the early signs look good, but clearly devil, as always, is in the detail, and this will all be very much yielded from the feasibility studies going forward. So I'd just like to finish really with a key point of over to you. We're keen to hear everybody's thoughts on this project. Hear any concerns you have, any pressing questions. Very much the stage is yours, and we very much want to hear your feedback as citizens of Ryedale. I'd also like to highlight we've also got the Ryedale Commonplace page. It's another chance to learn a little bit more about the project after the talk tonight. We've got a couple of different pages on there. There's the overview, which gives a bit more detailed information to the geothermal project, technologies, other information. There's also a list of the events going on, including in-person events as well. And then finally, there's also a survey. Please do fill the survey in after this talk. please give us your feedback, and also please do share with your neighbours and other citizens of Ryedale as well. We really do want to hear as much feedback as we can from our citizens. So I'll end there. Thank you very much for listening. I'll sort of hand over for the Q&A session if I can.
That's fabulous. Thanks a lot, Adam.
Sorry, I'm just trying to